Happy days! We're back in the workshop and back on the tools. Today we are covering this corner section. So we've got a little headlight bucket, headlight piece that we can do a little bit of hammer, dolly, file, metal finish, and then we've got this lower section where we're also going to do a little bit of work, then scribe, cut, weld, planish, and we'll have one corner complete. By the end of today, a couple hours plus a couple hours later, we should have another one of these corners that just goes wham bam and sits in place just like that. Hopefully that's the game plan at least, so let's see if we tackle it and how it goes. When it comes to metal finishing a panel, we don't want to metal finish one section completely and entirely. We want to work the whole panel uniformly and in sections, little bit by little bit. So I'll remove some dents here, remove some highs and lows here, remove some highs and lows here, and go around the whole panel like that, working the whole thing. Then I'll get it a little bit better, then I'll come back to 1 o'clock and I'll start working around again. And start working little bit until I'm happy with the result. What happens is if you start working one section and get that perfect, and then move on to the next section, you're gonna get, well, I get waves then. I'm gonna have highs, lows of perfect sections, but this one's a little bit higher and this one's a little bit lower. Whereas when I work it as a uniform and as a whole, then I've got one nice smooth surface that's finished in the end. Start with the file and just scuff everything up. That way we can see where our highs and our lows are sitting. We'll just go stick a little bit of soap on it, just so the file glides over easily and cuts easily. Now we're not going to file a lot of material away. We're just using the file as almost as a marking glue. So that way we see highs, lows. Now we just go and scuff it up. So we have a majority of our panel scuffed up now with the file, and we can see the file's touched this section here and on the edge there. But in the center it hasn't touched all along here. So we know, hey, that's a little bit low. We can visually see that's low also, but that's the theory. So if we move on, we can see, hey, it's touched there, hasn't touched there, that's a low, or all of this is high, which is not the case. So we know, there we go, bring that low up a little bit. And then that's how we're gonna read the panel and work through it now. So to bring up these lows, all I'm gonna do is put it on this dolly over here that's perfectly flat, filed and was polished once upon a time. And we're just gonna tap it up with a hammer, just softly, tap, 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 tap. Okay, so tapped it all up with a hammer now. Have I tapped it up enough? Feels pretty damn close, but we just scuff with the file and then we can check, hey, is it up or does it need to come up some more, or is it high now? And in certain areas, it's looking good. Some areas have to come up a little bit more. Like I said, we're not trying to get it perfect. We're going to work around the whole thing. I've got a section here that's a little bit too low and it's in the reverse. So if I put it on the dolly, I'm going to be changing the shape further out. So I'm just going to put it in a sandbag and use a little chisel. And just tap the chisel really softly in the corner here with a ball peen. Instead of going one hard blow, I'm going to go multiple soft blows. That way we're going to bring it up nice uniformly, check with the file, chisel some more. When you see me filing and there's pieces of aluminium flying off, you might think, oh, this guy's filing the material extremely thin. No, all I'm doing is breaking the highs down, and I've shrunk this edge so much on the Eckhold that I could file away here pretty freely and not even get close to the original material thickness, which is 1.5 mil. So on this section here, I've got a little bit of a low, a little bit of a low, and a little bit of a low. Now I'm not going to go with a hammer and chisel because it's not close to an edge. The shape's not really locked in. So if I had a hammer it there, I'm just going to bring the whole thing up high. Whereas now I'm just going to go on dolly and just slowly work that area a little bit. That way I've got my dolly backing it and holding the shape in place. So we just go and work now little bit by little bit by little bit. We can hear there that we're off dolly, whack, 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 whack. It almost sounds hollow, and then it starts pinging. Ping. As soon as it pings, you know, hey, okay, there's my shape back in place. That lows came up and it's where I want it. It's sitting now. And it already feels a bunch better. Let's get the other one out. Again, we have another low that's fairly closer to the edge, but not on the edge. So we can't just tap it up into the sandbag. So what I'm gonna do is get a little reverse slapper. That way I can get in the reverse without making a flat. Dolly on the backside, on dolly till it pings, and then there we go. There's our low up. So there we can see I've worked around the whole thing the first time, and we got pretty damn straight now. Far from 100%, but a lot better. So what I'm gonna do is work around it one more time, and then it's gonna be pretty damn straight. I'm not gonna get it perfect, because once I mount the headlights and turn the edges for the clips and mount necessities to it, then I'm gonna have to move edges back and forth and just do the final detail. So if I metal finish it perfectly now, it's just gonna be a waste of time, because in the future, I'm gonna have to modify it again. So all I want to do is minimize the future work. So get out all the big highs and lows, get it flowing, so that in the future, when I turn an edge or move an edge, it's not rework the whole panel and try now, turn this edge, clean up this section. It's just address just that edge. I'm also going to be welding all along the edge here. So once I've done that, I'm going to rework that whole weld in that section. So then it'll be a third pass, and even better that time. And that's where we're leaving this off for now. It's pretty damn straight. As you can see, there's not very many highs and lows at all. Hopefully you can tell in the light. But now let's get it to the car, start scribing the other panel, marking, trimming, welding, planishing, get it together. All I'm going to do now is just mark kind of where I want to trim with the coaxing. It's not giving us a perfectly smooth line, but I'm going to cut it with the shears and then file it perfectly smooth. So we can see there we've got a huge lump, so I'm just going to straighten that out, file it flat, and happy days, weld it up. Now we're just going to file blindly and make sure we've got a nice straight edge. So I'm just going to file and file and file and file until I'm happy with a consistent edge, then put it on the buck and get to trimming. So now we have an edge that has a couple waves in it. It's not a straight line, obviously, but that's not a problem, because when you're cutting with the shears, it's easy to do long swooping lines, whereas if we just want to avoid those jagged edges, the jigsaw edge. So I've got the sweeping edges, deburr it, and then we'll move over to the buck and get to trimming. So now we've got the line of our panel drawn on there, but with the overlap, the panel is not sitting exactly where we want it to sit. So what I'm going to do now is cut, I'd say, 10 mils off of our line. That way the panel is going to sit even closer, and most likely 3 steps. Trim a little bit more, mark a new line. Trim a little bit more, mark a new line, until I scribe my final line and cut it. That way, if I just scribe now, our panel is going to move so much that it's not going to fit, and we're going to be filling big gaps here or here or here. Whereas if we go a little bit by little bit by little bit, The last trim is exact, perfect, quick, easy to planish. What I've done now is I've just put 3 wood screws through my panel into the buck itself and then drawn a coaxing line all the way around it. That way I know this is exactly where the panel's sitting. When I made the panel, those 3 screws were in the whole time. So I know it hasn't twisted a little bit left, a little bit to the right. Now I'm going to remove it again and then cut extremely close to the line, probably 5 mils, maybe even a little bit less off, and then put it back on, and that next line is going to be the final line. We're going to scribe it, trim it, cut it, weld it. Okay, so what I'm doing now is hopefully the final scribe. So all I'm going to do is scribe with a scriber up into my corner so it's not lying to me, so I'm not 1 mil off. I want to put it up in the corner and then go all the way around for my final scribe, pull it off, trim it, check it again, and hopefully it fits 100%. If not, we tweak it, make it fit 100%. So you can see when I'm putting my scriber up into the corner, I can go back to previously where I was scribing and scribe it even deeper without my scribe line moving. So I still have what looks like only 1 scribe line, but I can start wherever I want and continue from wherever I want, because it's up in the corner and it's not moving. Next step is to mark reference lines to ensure that when our panels come off and come back on, we know one hasn't twisted slightly to the left or the other hasn't twisted slightly to the right. We know, hey, this is their place. These lines, these reference lines must line up 100%. If they don't, something has gone wrong. Stop, investigate, problem solve, and then carry on. So I'm going with the shears now on the scribe line for hopefully the final cut. The reason I do the final one with shears, not an angle grinder or something like that, is because shears don't impregnate the material with anything. It's nice, clean, easy, accurate. If there's only like 5mm line or slightly smaller you're cutting off, then you can cut extremely accurately with shears. So I just find it works best for me. Sometimes when I have to take off 30, 40 mils, I'll just go with the grinder quickly and cut off and then do the final one with the shear. Finally, we're putting the clicos in for possibly the last time on welding this panel. They're going to go in a couple thousand times still. But what we're doing is just clicoing this in, bolting the headlight section. Then we're going to do a couple tacks on the buck, then pull it off, clamp it, and final weld it off the buck. I'm doing that just to ensure that I've got my alignment marks, but it's just much easier this way. Securing it on, giving it 1-2 tacks, cleaning the backside, then welding the rest up. I find it to be a lot more timely and efficient. I've put one of the wood screws in and then realized, hey, I've actually got to file a little bit off this edge still, probably about 1/2 mil, a little bit less. So what I'm going to do is just marked here 2 little lines. I know in between that, give it a quick file and deburr, stick it back on, and then we're going to get to tacking it up. So we can see now we've got this panel clecoed on, this panel bolted in, and our alignment marks are still 100%. That's very confidence inspiring. So we know everything's lining up, everything's where it should be and how it should be. So we're just going to do a couple tacks, pull it off, a couple more tacks, weld the whole thing up. There we go, that's tacked up in 6 different places. So what we're going to do is just grind the backside of the tack away and then planish it a little bit. We can see as the tacks cool down and start to shrink, it starts pulling your panel out of whack. So what we're going to do is just planish them a little bit to get it to sit right again, clamp it all over, chuck some more tacks before we weld it finally. see what a little bit of planishing does. Now the panels are lining up almost 100%. We used to have a big step here and here from the weld shrinking, but now panel is flowing. Just finished grinding the back side of the welds completely flush. Then the top side, I've just broke the peaks of all the tacks off. And now what I'm gonna do is just planish them all slightly, clean it with some acetone and weld it up. But you can see now it's flowing pretty damn good. After I planish those tacks, it's gonna be flowing almost 100%. So when I weld it, it's not gonna pull that much. Also because there's all the shape, and I'm gonna hold it in its form with the sandbag, so it can't really twist. I'm hoping that I can just buzz it with a weld and do 20 minutes and have a planished panel. I've just finished planishing now these couple tacks all the way around. So what I'm gonna do is just take the little die grinder, buzz off the tacks completely, file it just so that we have a uniform 1.5 millimeter through, well, close to a uniform 1.5 millimeter throughout the whole thing. So that when we weld, we don't have to give more amps back off, more amps back off. Just gives us a nice consistent weld. Let's hop on that quick. Silly or not so silly, I do it, and I've been doing it more and more because I find it helps. So I've welded this panel completely with the sandbags holding it in place. Now all I'm doing is while the weld's cooling, I'm leaving the sandbags, putting pressure on it, holding it in place. In my mind, my theory says, hey, that doesn't give it the opportunity to twist as much as it cools down and contracts. Right or wrong, I don't know. That's what I'm doing. There's a couple little sections here where we've got a little bit of monkey butt coming through, not full penetration. So all I'm gonna do now is buzz the back side of that in those certain spots and then grind it and planish. Good old soap trick. So I want to grind the back side of that weld without the disc galling up quickly. So all I do is wham bam, plug it in, a little bit of soap, left, right, and it acts as a lubricant so the blade doesn't gall up and you grind away much faster and easier. Amazing, I've grinded the backside flush now, gonna start addressing the top. But you can see in the light that this panel, because it's got so much shape and it lined up so well, it's barely pulled. Haven't even planished the weld at all, but we've got a nice flowing straight panel-ish. So now, grind this down, planish it, and it'll be sweet. What I've done now, grind the top away, I'm just going to go and rub soap all over where I'm going to file it down and then get to planishing. The reason I'm doing this is because now I've ground a little bit of highs and lows and there's some edges, so I'm just going to file that all the way, give it uniform surface and get to planishing. Just so that when I'm planishing, I don't have to planish a weld down before I get to the material I actually want to planish. I'm on the material I'm wanting to planish. We're just going to go on dolly, ping, 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 ping. Planish for the most part. Then we might even take it to the planishing hammer and do a little bit of work there if it starts to give me troubles here, but we'll see. So we've only planished the first 30 mils here, but I'm stopping because I actually want to take it to the car and test fit it and see, hey, how well does this fit before I planish it? How much has it actually moved? Because running my hand over it, I'm pretty shocked at how straight it still feels. It needs work, but I'd be interested to test it. So we can see here the edge is sitting almost all the way, a little bit high here. When we planish it here, it's going to bring it around. Sitting, 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 sitting. Needs a little bit of work on the bottom. But if we look at the main headlight section, it's still completely touching the buck. It's not pulled away or warped at all. So I don't know if you can see that, but it's flat, it's touching, even on the headlight indicator bucket. It's It's not moving at all, which is beautiful because usually these will pucker up or pull a hollow, and then you fight and you fight and you fight to get that. So how I've done this, I'm happy with it. So possibly the first time you're seeing me use this tool, but it's a planishing hammer. So on the planishing hammer, I was able to get from this lower section to halfway up the top. So all I gotta do is finish off this upper section here and this upper section here by hand, and then it's hit it with a file, check for highs and lows, done day. The reason I couldn't do this upper section in the planishing hammer is because the top die is quite wide and is running next to a reverse. So it's gonna hit lows into the middle of the reverse, and then I'm gonna have to fight to get that up, and then that's gonna change where I planish. So this way is easier, I just planish where the weld is, don't interfere with the reverse, and it's a win. We've got a left and a right of the car that's slowly coming together and flowing. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll have the full front put together and welded, gapped, all of that complete. But for now, this is where we're going to leave off this video, just with these two corners complete and showing you the reverses. If you're enjoying this content and want to see more of it, please like, comment, subscribe, and let us know what you want to see in future episodes. More how-tos, more cinematics, let us know. So that's this panel complete. Didn't fight me too much, just a little bit of scribing, cutting, welding, quite a bit of planishing. That was probably one of the longer parts of this, but it's there now. Corner's done, complete.